Thanks for joining us, everyone. And it's been a really huge day in the Mueller investigation. Our blockbuster news: the president's former fixer and keeper of secrets, apparently not keeping those secrets anymore. I'm talking about Michael Cohen. He's saying that he was lying to protect the president when he told Congress that negotiations to put a Trump Tower in Moscow ended before the Iowa caucuses. Cohen, as part of his surprise guilty plea today to a charge from Robert Mueller, now says those negotiations continued well into the presidential campaign until June of 2016. He also says he discussed the project with Donald Trump himself on more than 3 occasions and briefed Trump family members working with the Trump organization. That means then candidate Trump was trying to do business with Russia in the middle of a campaign that Russia interfered in to help elect him.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
You've been looking very, very closely at some of the details that in the Mueller document that was submitted to the court. What are you seeing?
Well, I think by far the most important part of either of these documents are about what it relates to the Russia investigation involving Cohen and candidate and
16 meeting at Trump Tower involving Donald Trump.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
Junior, among others, with a Russian lawyer. That's a significant development.
Well, it is a development, and it is significant because it means that the Mueller investigation is proceeding very quickly. It means that this is a very serious investigation.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
Morning, Congressman.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
What did you think when you read that disclosure from Paul Manafort's own attorneys that he had passed this proprietary polling data to Russians?
Well, it's pretty shocking, and you think you're not capable of being shocked anymore. But of course, we continue to learn things that
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
Honest with an eruption of presidential anger at the Russia investigation. Now, however you see it, it's clear that Robert Mueller is very much on the president's mind. He's been meeting with lawyers, going over written answers to questions that one of his attorneys told the Washington Post included, and I'm quoting here, possible traps.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
We welcome news. As for the Russia investigation, Donald Trump's overall approval rating is still pretty dismal. This is one of his worst issues, his handling of the Russia investigation. He's upside down 21 points, 34% approved, 55 disapproved. But this 34%, John, that's up 5 points. And what is driving it? Well, nearly 70% of Americans want to see him testify if he's indeed asked to do so under oath. It's those people, mainly Democrats, I should say, who are feeling a little bit better about how he's handling the investigation, which may give Trump and Rudy Giuliani some solace in their strategy that having Trump out there saying, hey, I want to sit down with Mueller, I want to talk to him, have these prolonged public negotiations, that may be actually helping his approval rating here.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
And good evening, I'm Erin Burnett. Out front tonight, the breaking news. A White House official telling CNN tonight that the West Wing has still not seen the Mueller report. But President Trump does not need the full report to declare victory.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
First, just on our reporting that there will be no further indictments in the Mueller probe. That means, in the end, no member of the Trump campaign was charged with conspiring with the Russian government to influence the election.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
Are you concerned about anyone in your life that you love?
No.
Being involved?
There's nothing there. Yet it's created weeks and weeks and months of headlines. So no, I have zero concern.
That was first daughter and presidential advisor Ivanka Trump saying that she's not concerned that anyone in her family could be in any legal jeopardy as a result of special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
President Trump claims that he is completely vindicated after Robert Mueller did not find that the president or his campaign conspired with Russia to win the 2016 election.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
And a stain on those around him, end quote. Comey says that the president may have obstructed justice by asking him to let go of the Michael Flynn investigation, and he believes the president is vulnerable to blackmail by Russia. Comey also talks about why he reopened the Hillary Clinton email investigation just days before the 2016 election, saying that he was in a no-win situation and that he stands by his decision.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
You're going to hear this from the right for the next days and weeks to come, that the press has basically made all of this up to take down President Trump. The press is just following a trail that Trump created.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
Coming in response to a 60 Minutes interview where McCabe claimed the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, brought up the possibility of invoking the 25th Amendment to remove the president, and that Rosenstein had once offered to wear a wire to record Mr. Trump.
We talked about why the president had insisted on firing the director and whether or not he was thinking about the Russia investigation and did that impact his decision. And in the context of that conversation, the Deputy Attorney General offered to wear a wire into the White House.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
Robert Mueller, he said this: I hope that he's going to be fair, he said. I think he's going to be fair. And based on that, there's been no collusion, but I think he's going to be fair. And if he's fair, because everybody knows the answer already.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
You guys.
Okay, so CNN is reporting that the Trump team is upbeat, encouraged by what we know so far, which really is very little. I mean, no further indictments is certainly good news for the president's circle.
0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero responded.
The Russia story we expected tonight, and the Russia story almost no one expected. Two former top members of the Trump campaign now under house arrest, their passports confiscated. But it's the third man, this man, George Papadopoulos, who's looking more and more significant and perhaps more and more dangerous to a president who's claimed as recently as this morning that there was no collusion between his campaign.
Is done, and among the many remaining questions, how will it weigh on voters in the 2020 election? There's something about Harry. CNN senior politics writer and analyst Harry Enten has our answer. He has so many answers for us. You're really one of our gurus.
Oh, that is so sweet. His work is done, but mine has just begun with you two. Isn't that nice?
You're like the William Barr of CNN. Go ahead.
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of. I'd like to think I'm at least a little younger than William Barr. So, look, this is a recent poll we just asked. We open-ended it, said, okay, what's the most important issue for your 2020 vote? So voters could say pretty much anything. But look at this. Look where the Russia investigation, 0% said that was the most important to their vote in 2020. Exactly. Zero respondents said Russia. And, you know, one of the things we were talking about, healthcare, obviously, the Trump administration wants to get rid of the ACA. Look at that. It ranks significantly higher. So of the news that's kind of come out this week of things that are important to people's vote in 2020, I would honestly argue that the healthcare news is far more important than the Russia investigation.
Let me just... There were multiple responses allowed.
Multiple responses.
You could say anything you wanted.
You could say anything. You could say the Boston Red Sox.
As many times as you wanted.
Right.
That's what John said.
And zero people, 0 times.
Zero times. So what's the most important issue? And you could record multiple responses. 0 people said 0 times.
Well, okay.
Russia.
Stop the presses. Most important issue to people's lives? Of course, it's not.
Most important issue to their vote in 2020.
Okay.
Most important issue.
And sneak into some of the villages and actually see these atrocities. Patients who'd run out of the hospitals that were shot up with birdshot, ambulance drivers who were beaten. And as we were heading back out of these villages, we were violently detained by security forces in Bahrain about 20 masked men with machine guns who then tried to erase all the video that they found. And luckily, my female producer and I were able to hide some discs in our bras, and we were able to actually get out of the country with this content. So you can imagine Bahrain's surprise when we got back to the U.S. and this content was airing on CNN. And right after that is when the phone calls started coming into the network complaining about me. Bahrain is paying CNN to create content that shows Bahrain in a favorable light, even though CNN says this content, is editorially independent. It doesn't. Bahrain can't affect that. Well, we've seen that with this documentary not airing, and also with the constant struggle I had at CNN to get Bahrain coverage, accurate Bahrain coverage of the human rights abuses on air while I was there. What CNN is doing is they're essentially creating what some people have termed infomercials for dictators. And that's this sponsored content that they're airing on CNN International that's actually being paid for by regimes and governments. I mean, this violates every principle of journalistic ethics because we're supposed to be watchdogs on these governments. We're not supposed to allow them to be paying customers as journalists.